Hey all, it's Everdell here. Welcome back to the Meadow. Today I have a 4-player game of Everdell Online, 2 AI players on hard, and then 1 human opponent. And I draw 3rd spot, 7 cards in hand. I'm really liking the Architect, the Crane, and the Inn. And then in the Meadow, I like what I see as well, the Wife, the University, the Doctor, the Castle, and that Shopkeeper in the top right. And taking a look at the forest locations here, 3 berries, a basic location and a card, 2 random resources, or 1 stone and 3 cards. I opt first for 3 berries to try to snag either the Wife or the Shopkeeper. And while blue player's deciding, I check out the special events. We've got Remembering the Fallen, Ministering the Miscreants, Graduation of the Scholars, and Flying Doctor Service. For my second play, I actually choose to go with Shopkeeper first. I really like that card in general for the berry production every time I play a critter. Blue snags University. Definitely a tough one to see go out early here, because the Doctor is also in the meadow, which he will be able to get. I opt for a stone and 3 cards, more to block the space, and then pick up that stone that I need for the Crane. Just like that, blue takes the lead with 7 points after playing the Doctor. I play the Crane, Hedgehog goes to New Season, red and blue player both go to the spring as well. And then I choose to play the Architect with the help of the Crane. Definitely want to do that first before I cash in the Crane for helping to pay for a future construction. And just a quick note on strategy, I'm definitely also trying to not just play the cards in the meadow in my hand, but also special events and basic events this game. It's been something I've been neglecting and trying to improve upon, so I'm trying to think through which special events should I be going for. There is a Doctor in the meadow, and there's that Flying Doctor Service. There's the University, which has already been played by blue, and so some of these are already looking a little bit less likely. And in my hand, I have 2 unique cards, the Monastery and the Peddler. I'm not usually playing those cards a ton, but the Monastery would help me get the Monk, of course. And that Peddler might come in handy because there's not a ton of stone in this game. But when you play a Peddler and or fire production with it, you can trade resources for stone, so I'm thinking about using that. I opt here in winter to actually use my Crane to play a farm. Now the reason for that is the Wife is still in the meadow, and I think I can pick that card up based upon the lack of berries from other players. And look at that, a husband also drops into the meadow. Still in winter, I'll play that Wife in order to hopefully play the husband as well that is in the meadow. That'll help me to not only fire production when I play the husband, but also before I enter spring here. Lots of great cards being played from the meadow from the other players. Innkeepers, Universities, Doctors. So it's a real fight already. I can see that this is going to be a close game. It's always amazing if you can play green production cards in winter, because you're going to fire once before you get spring, and resources early in the game are so valuable. So with the husband firing, I pick up a stone. And look at that, there's a Wanderer in the meadow and a Bard in the meadow. I like both those cards a ton. I decide to pick up the Wanderer with the help of my Shopkeeper, who's been giving me berries as I play these cards. I now have tied my record ever for most cards played in winter with 7 cards played. The Crane, Architect, Shopkeeper, Farm, Wanderer. I get fooled right away. This is the first time ever I've been fooled in winter, and I don't blame them. I'm breaking early here at 11 points, tied for, or I was at 13 points, I should say. Now I'm tied for first at 11. I decide to go to spring here. There's a couple of other production cards I could play, but I would honestly rather get into summer and fire production. I'm not crazy about playing either the Twig Barge or Storehouse here. I'm definitely thinking about the Wanderer, the Castle, and the Inn in my hand, also that Monastery and Peddler still. I opt here because it's open for the 2 random resource spot, and I choose 1 stone and 1 resin. Because I've been fooled, that dungeon in the meadow is definitely looking more attractive to me. I'd rather play the dungeon and get rid of the fool than build toward that castle slowly in my hand. Plus, I'm halfway to that special event. Now I just need a monk. Blue here is going to play a teacher from the meadow. There is now a special event that he's got fulfilled. He needed a doctor and a teacher, and he's got both. Or I should say, I'm sorry, a university and a teacher, and he has both. So that's great for him. I opt here for the lookout, and the reason for that is because I want to play the Wanderer for fewer berries that's in my hand, and also, of course, get rid of that fool. I did think about waiting to play the dungeon ability so that I could keep the fool in my city, because I really was hoping I wasn't going to get fooled twice in the same game. That's never happened, but it could happen. Theoretically, there are two fools out there, but I ultimately decided, no, let's clean up the city now and let's grab that lookout. It'll be really helpful throughout the game for me to play forest locations that have both stumps taken, so I'm really excited to pick that up. I opt here for a card in a basic location and get 3 twig. Red very quickly picks up the Harvest Festival. I would have loved a better spot, but I really need resin, so I'm going to go to that basic location and grab 2. I'm getting closer and closer to that castle. I also have the inn and the monastery in my hand, so I'm trying to think through which do I play first. Red here grabs Judge. Man, I would have loved to have that. Judge is such a great card. It allows you to get really flexible with resources when you're paying for both critters and constructions. I opt here for a bit of a strange play. I go Monastery, and my thinking is that gets me closer to the basic event for the paw print cards. I need 3 of those, and now I have 2. And also, if a monk does appear, I'm going to get some end game victory points if I put my meeples there. I also then go and play the inn, and immediately Hedgehog uses it to pay for the castle, so a bit bummed out there. There's also a king in the meadow now, but I now have the basic event fulfilled for, again, those 3 paw print cards. Blue plays Theater. That's a great pickup. And they are now in the lead with 24 points. Now here I'm feeling a bit stuck. I opt for Summer a little earlier than I usually do, but at the same time, I'm excited to pick up both that Harvester and King from the meadow. So looking hopefully for that to change the meadow and give me a few more options. And this game is flying by. Blue just enters Autumn. Quick look at his city, and I'm seeing not a ton of synergy so far, but he does have a full hand, so I definitely don't want to underestimate him here. I opt here and just grab that basic event. I have a king in hand. I'm pretty confident I can get to it with the castle in hand. And so I figure, okay, let's go again for the basic and special events, which I hadn't been prioritizing in the last few games. Evertree in the meadow. I'm not quite there in terms of resources, frankly, but maybe it'll still be there. I opt here for 3 twig and 1 card, just to block the space, because my hand is already maxed out at 8 cards. Hedgehog goes to Autumn as well, and now my inn is open, so that's good. That'll help me pay down cards in the meadow for 3 cheaper. But Blue beats me to it. He grabs the chip sweep by visiting my inn. Honestly, you can't go wrong picking up a few stone. Okay, Purple plays a crane. At this point, I'm really not trusting my chances of getting that Evertree, which is okay, but I start thinking more, okay, I need to play the castle and the king, and then focus on my hand a little bit more than the meadow right now. Decisions. I opt here for the lookout location so that I can fire the random resources again, and I pick up a stone and resin. The theater is also catching my eye now. It gives me 1 point for unique critters, so I was considering that as well. What would be better, the Evertree or the theater? I choose here to play the peddler. Like I mentioned earlier, you can trade resources, so I wanted to give some berries away to help me get some resin. Purple takes Evertree. And here I join everyone else in Autumn. I didn't want to play the Wanderer because I would rather cash in on 3 cards after I play a few from my hand, so I'm thinking the sequence at this point is going to be Castle, King, Harvester, Wanderer. Firing production, of course, for Autumn. I decide to use my Peddler's ability to trade 2 berries for, I believe, 1 stone and 1 resin. Great card by Purple, the Queen. He jumps up to 33 points, tied now for first. Red plays an inn. And Blue quickly plays a Wood Carver. I see that Innkeeper and grab it from the meadow right away. That's going to help me maybe buy one of the critters in my hand. This Purple AI is really good. Picks up the theater, and now he leads with 40 points. Red takes the other Innkeeper that appeared. And taking a look at Blue City, not super impressive game from them. They play a Ranger, so they're going to get a little bit of help here to move resources around, but he's looking close to finishing. I decide to pick up the special event, the second basic event, the City Monument. Free farm, awesome. Okay, time to start. Got my plan, time to lay it out, play the castle. I've had that king since wintertime, gotta play him soon. Also, just a moment ago, another free card, a storehouse in this case. I'm happy with that. I like to have a full hand when it comes to Autumn because you can always discard cards for points. I've been short on resin a lot this game, so opt for 2 resin there. Not quite sure what I'm going to be building, but the Architect will help me with bonus points for leftover resin and stone. Taking a look here at the next card to play, I opt, I believe, for a basic location to get 3 twigs and 1 card. And I just realized Blue player is out. They locked in at 41 points, definitely beatable. We've got Purple AI, who's in the lead at 45, and he just expands that with a king to 51. And I play the Wanderer here to get 3 cards. I realize, though, I only draw 2. The School is one of my favorite cards, but I realize there's a little bit of a glitch in the game, and I actually have a king behind, or in between the Storehouse and the Harvester there. Opt here for the School, pick up those bonus points for all common critters, which is great. I'm up to 44 points. And now I play the king with the help of the castle. And now I'm just 5 points back from first place. Ruins can be such great cards end of game because you can trade out a construction in your city that you've used and that isn't worth that much for points and random resource, as well as the resource that it costs to play it. With that, I draw a ranger, and a courthouse. I opt here for the expedition basic event, my third event for the game. 59 points is the number to beat for this game. And I can't forget that the architect gives me extra points for stone and resin, so that's another path to victory for me here if I collect those resources. And I actually canceled this harvester play. I'm really struggling here figuring out what to do next. I don't really think the harvester is worth playing here because there's no wife in my hand or in the meadow. I also don't want to get time checked though, so I ultimately opt to get two victory points for discarding 2 cards I know I won't use. And here I do finally play the harvester, decide to take the chance. With red going out, I'm now the only player left. I've got a couple of turns on my own here to try to close the gap and win this game. I play the ranger here with the help of my innkeeper so that I can move a meeple around. And I choose to move one of my meeples over to the journey spot, discarding 2 cards for 2 more victory points again. And then I'm gonna grab 2 resources, a stone and actually 2 stone, so that my architect gives me extra points. And at this point the game is mine, but I just want to practice making a couple of good plays here. I actually use the dungeon to discard a peddler in order to play a second peddler, which will allow me to trade berries for more resources that my architect will give me bonus points for. So these little plays can sometimes really make or break a game. I get up to 65 points now from 59 just in that turn, and I pass. And that's game. 65 to 59. Great game overall. A little bit of a weak performance by the blue player, but everyone has those games. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button if you'd like more Everdell content. If you ever want to play online, you can look up my username. It's Eidolon, E-I-D-O-L-O-N. I'd love to see you all next time in the meadow.